This is a Kindle Fire, and anybody who've watched the videos have seen it before. And what you saw on the screen was the place where I'm reading in my own book that I just published now, Sliding Down Moonbeams. So that's now on Amazon Kindle. It was published April 18th. It's the sequel to Molasses Moon, which this series is based on. And any of you who have been following it know that I've continued after finishing reading Molasses Moon into current day commentaries related and carrying on with some of the themes in the book, Molasses Moon. I decided to publish this book close to the opening chapter, which it was opens on the date April 22nd of 2000. No, what year was it? Okay, I'm going to go back. Well, 1994. That was when we started Molasses Moon. Now I'll just show you what I'm doing here. I just brought up this bottom by tapping in the middle of the screen. And now it's gone. You just see the print. Tap again, and you get this bottom part. I'm going to use that little arrow to go back to the previous part that I was on, which would have been in the carousel. So you can see the book cover there. Turn it this way. And now I'll click on that. It takes you to where I was. And so I think I'll click on that, and instead of going back, which was back to the carousel, I'll go to the menu, that little, and then go to the cover. And then that shows a better view. And there you have it. Picture with me and the seagull. And then the cover includes the bottom part. Sliding down moonbeams. Smaller print there is a little bit harder to read, but I'll leave it on there for just a minute. So this is a sequel, and I'm going to go to page 2. This shows a little bit better. And here we have the table of contents. Now the blue part there that's underlined, I think most people are aware, are internal hyperlinks. And just to give you a little bit of background on publishing on KDP, Kindle's publishing program, Kindle Direct Publishing is what the KDP stands for. When I first uploaded this, I didn't have the hyperlinks. Something happened with them, and so they didn't come through live. So I quickly went back into my Word program where I have the manuscript and fixed all that in before I came into the part that I had set up for the free promotional on this book to try to help give it a launch. I was able to fix those hyperlinks so they would be live. So when you click on the blue part with the underlining on any of the chapters in the table of contents, they'll take you directly to that chapter. And most books don't have those, even the Kindle books. It takes a lot of time to include the internal hyperlinks to different parts of the book. I do it because I kind of enjoy it, and it was fairly easy to learn for me. And I think it makes it just more convenient for a long book sometimes. If you happen to lose your place or something, you can use the hyperlinks. There are also live hyperlinks to go online in different parts that relate to the book whenever that's appropriate. I chose the days for the free promo, 2 days. You have 5 in every 3 months that you have a book on Kindle Select. You can offer it in a free promotional effort 5 days out of those 60, out of those 3 months. I picked the 2 days, and it was kind of I wasn't sure if it was real smart or real dumb. As you know, today, April 22nd, 2012, April 22nd has been declared Earth Day. And from my perspective, as you know from Molasses Moon, I hold that Mother Earth hates ecology and the heart loves cholesterol. But I was wondering if I was being sacrilegious in a way when the intent basically for Earth Day had more to do with the causes that environmentalism and the current political, those in political power are attempting to push. There are a lot of scientists now. I put new links in Molasses Moon in the current update that there are 35,000 scientists who have signed petitions that say that they believe the global warming and climate change pushes right now are inaccurate observations of scientific data, and that they're in a sense a hoax purported to promote a certain cause, or to promote, I really don't know agendas, how to describe it. Point is, we really don't know which of all these different sides are more accurate, reflecting truth, reflecting reality, but that each side is attempting to convince everybody that they're right. And the ones that are in power usually, not usually, but in this case are attempting at times to not allow the other side's viewpoints in the mainstream media, trying to discount all of it. And if you Google global warming or any of these concepts, you'll be able to find, at least online, representations of different viewpoints. But getting back to my point right now, I was honestly afraid, extremely uncomfortable, to put this book on a free promo on April 21st and 22nd. Then I thought, well, where's my courage? I do believe what I'm saying, but I also promote it not as truth, just as my beliefs, my speculations. They do reflect a lot of other people that are more well-versed in science. So, put my money where my mouth is, I guess. But as John Cassell has mentioned, the 25-year law enforcement prosecuting attorney, that's a good friend of mine, who's also published several books, one of them called The Slender Read, that I have also read aloud, an introduction on video, says that it's very telling to him that a lot of people that have spoken out in positions of authority against any of the global warming concepts have threats on their lives. So there's something in that. So anyway, what was kind of interesting to me on a lighter side here is that when I first opened, I bought the first copy of Sliding Down Moonbeams, the sequel to Molasses Moon, and opened up the book and looked at the first page, and all of a sudden I sneezed, a huge big sneeze. And I don't know, I just thought that was a little bit of a confirmation at a girl type of thing, because if I read to you the first few words in the book, first let me show you something I'm kind of proud of. The opening photograph and the opening lines. Oops. Now I bumped it so it went to the next page. But here's the opening photograph. It was one that I took when there was a heck of a thunderstorm brewing. But I'm not going to read any of this now. I finally realized again, because to have my books on Amazon Select, KDP Select, and that's a very good program, very well worth the conditions. One of them is that it's not presented any of it anywhere else in digital format besides on Amazon Kindle. So I won't read any of this, but just tell you that in the first few sentences, I sneezed is in there. The words about, as I said, a molasses moon, jokingly saying that when I was out in the ozone in some of my travels of wandering and wondering, I sneezed and made the hole in the ozone layer. So of course this is all joking, but in the first few sentences in Sliding Down Moonbeams, that's what you'll read. I just thought it was appropriate. I didn't even have any indications of sneezing, hadn't sneezed any time in the last several days with any kind of allergies or anything else. One sneeze, one big one, right as I opened the book. So I thought that was kind of cool. And as far as putting the free promo on April 21st and today, it'll be finished with tonight at midnight. The free promo on the Sliding Down Moonbeams book that just came out on April 18th. I don't think I have too much to worry about because it hasn't been exposed very well. Strangely too, I searched on Google on the title Sliding Down Moonbeams before I had set that free promo, and it came up in the first couple of entries on the list on the Google search, the link to the Amazon copy of the book. And now to get to the Amazon copy of the book, I have to search through about 3 pages of all the lists of the Google links. I know that some people do, with certain political agendas, do attempt to manipulate everything they can manipulate to block out anything representing opposite their cause and bring theirs to the forefront. So I don't know what caused this, and whatever's right in the long run as far as I'm concerned. I think, to tell you the truth, Mother Earth would be more lined up with my thoughts and appreciate them than the ones being pushed as being her taking care of Mother Earth. I think she can take care of herself. Anyway, what I want is whatever's right in the highest sense, and I've said this before repeatedly in all my books and in various places. So I don't have an investment in being right. All I'm doing is trying to present an opposing viewpoint when I think maybe it needs to be presented. I've never been politically correct. I've always been somewhat of a rebel, but also tried to work within the rules and the laws and within the culture. I've always believed in that too. Work within the system as much as you can. I've never believed in just breaking everything apart. That usually causes a lot of grief for a lot of people and doesn't always put anything better in position than what was already there. So anyway, today too we've got Sliding Down Moonbeams on a free promotional. So far I think about 68 copies have been uploaded, and a lot of the free promotions, like with John Cassell's books, have uploaded sometimes 25,000 copies in a day on a free promotional. But his books are a little bit different. They're more pure adventures, and they're long books, and they are also out in physical format, often at, I think, anywhere from close to $20, maybe more, in the physical book. So when you see a free book on a promotional that is offered in a hard cover, not hardcover, but hard copy for sometimes as much as $25. That looks like a really good deal to get it for free. So I'm noticing that a lot of the free promotional books go out more quickly if the price on Kindle and the price of a paper copy is fairly high, comparative to zero for sure. I put Sliding Down Moonbeams at $5.99. I think it's well worth that. I've been trying to price my books fairly low though, because of the fact that I'm a maverick, I like to call myself. A lot of the Kindle forums are kind of putting down what they call indie writers or independent writers that aren't being promoted by any of the major publishing houses in New York. As Molasses Moonbeams and Sliding Down Moonbeams continues to, I think, document, I still believe in New York publishing houses. I still wish them well. But a person like me is really not going to have a chance that route. And I think that my works and a lot of works from a lot of other people that are not in the political mainstream being pushed deserve to have their words out there too. So here I am, by my only avenue, KDP Select. There's a lot of other people in the situation too. But there's also now a lot of people just pushing books that are just, I don't know, just books things people want to say. Some of them are worth saying, some maybe aren't, I don't know. But I think it's nice to have them have the opportunity to have their books out there. And what a lot of people are not aware of, that even with Kindle's KDP, it isn't really all that easy. It's not a snap your fingers, fill the blanks, and get your book out there and get it selling and get it exposed. It takes a lot of work, number one, to write a book, to edit it somewhat, to believe in it enough to actually go through the process of learning how to use KDP and get your book out there. Filling in the blanks takes some work, it takes some learning. The whole process takes some initiative, some effort, some time, a lot of follow through. So even the people, the glut that it seems of people with their books, independent authors, indies, whatever you want to call them, the ones that have their books out there have gone through a lot of hoops to do it. And I'm glad to have the possibilities myself of books like these to read. And I don't think it's all that hard to wade through. Thanks to Amazon and the categorization and all the things they attempt to do to make it easier to find what it is that you're after. Google has done that. A lot of the internet is based on the fact of tags and categories and ways of presenting things in different collectives, so to speak, that might help people find what they want. So it's a lot easier now than it used to be just going through a bookstore and thumbing through bookshelves. And I think that's still good. I still go to bookstores. I think they'll still stay in business, certain ones that are creative. I love sitting here looking at this. Here I am, every time I turn aside I can see the beautiful cloud with my title. It's just nice to have it out there. It's nice to be able to read it myself. It's nice to know the second copy was purchased by Jack Engelhardt, another author friend, who wrote Indecent Proposal, the book that was made into a blockbuster movie. And the book itself is different from the movie, of course, but quite a bit different than a lot of books are from the movie. Very worth reading. Very interesting book. He's also written several other extremely interesting books. Touching the screen here and not let it go dark so I can keep looking at this beautiful cloud. And the words I wrote through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I don't know if you can hear the birds outside, but I love hearing them chirp. To me, if it's Earth Day, there's a lot of different ways to celebrate the Earth, not just one. And believe me, I do love Mother Earth and this planet. And I want to do what's best for it and for all of the creatures on it. I think it's a beautiful place, a fascinating place. So let's see. I think I was going to mention a little bit too on me undermining myself somewhat. The tags I chose and the categories I chose for presenting molasses, sliding down moonbeams. You might laugh at this one if you read chapter 10 in Molasses Moon, or looked at that video that reads that chapter, or any of the other videos. I put this in the category, get this, are you ready? Memoirs. And in chapter 10 I moaned and groaned and screamed and whined and complained about having an editor, was it an agent or an editor, that rejected Molasses Moon manuscript, saying that memoirs weren't very easy to sell or very popular. That was back in '94, and now with me putting this under memoirs, I just thought it might give it a chance to have more exposure. Well, what happens is, like I was been saying and believed way back then, memoirs are really popular now, and they're not just all the same, they're every which way, of a lot of writers that just are not only writers, but they want to write through their own lives and through their own biography or autobiography, whichever way they go. There are memoirs put out there every which way. So mine did get up as far as number 11 on the free books on Amazon Kindle, free promotional books. And then it was on 13, I think number 13 out of the top 100 free sales of the category of biography and memoirs. And then it went down to 15, and now I think it's down to 25. And I think that's probably about all she wrote. But I think I also put it under self-help. And if you've read Molasses Moon, and this is, somewhat similar, pretty much out in the ozone, wandering and wondering, more new quantum physics terms and more query letters. This time I put in my description of the book. I just admitted that there are a lot of cringe-worthy queries, but they're fun, I think. And you have to do something to both express the qualities, the values of what you have to present, at the same time as trying to get somebody's attention, and using a little bit of humor and laughing at yourself was about all I felt I had that might be working at my disposal. So yes, you've got some cringe-worthy query letters that I think are just kind of fun to read, and it actually did get more and more responses as I went along, and interesting responses. And the way I dealt with the responses, I think, is kind of fun. And there's a lot to learn here still. The main thing, more than anything, I think, is giving an example of how to believe in yourself and keep believing in yourself, keep renewing the belief. And I call the times of not believing in yourself self-doubt attacks. That's just all normal and actually probably healthy. So I expose those purposely. Partly, it helps me go through them, and I think it will help other people deal with them too. And keep going on the long roads, and keep knowing that for every self-doubt attack or every down, you're going to have another up. And I think actually it's when you're in the up parts that you're a little bit closer to reality. At least the reality maybe we'll get a chance to get closer to also as a group of all of humanity on Earth, maybe get a little bit closer to what we might be in our best light in this year. So the categories, I think maybe I blew it, but then again, I've been thinking maybe if only a few books get uploaded in the free promo, and this will be of interest maybe to regular people as well as to other authors or other people considering using this program. I'd rather have 68 people upload this book free, with the chances increased of them uploading it to actually read it, rather than having the 25,000, although there's nothing wrong with that. There's got to be a few in there that'll actually read the book. But with that many, the small numbers or the large numbers, there's just advantages to each that you can look at and hope for and maybe just work toward. But if even a few of those people read the whole book, the types of people that actually do think and seek truth, seek what's really right and what's really true in the highest sense, rather than what authorities tell us or what something outside yourself that you think is smarter than you is telling you is right. I still think each of us has a soul, a spirit, and that's the direct link to the higher consciousness, the creative force that created the universes. That's the direct link. You have a soul, you have a spirit, and you can communicate with it. You can use the power of it. You know, I love the sound of that bird. I hope it's coming through here, but we'll see. Gotta show this cloud again. There's something in that, the light there, the bright orange. That day, that cloud cover was absolutely awesome. It feels pretty much like I felt when I started writing this book. There was a lot of other things I wanted to cover. I was also going to just mention some of the other themes that I'm pushing ahead. The ones on health, on philosophy, religious concepts, spiritual concepts, metaphysical, quantum physics, quantum metaphysics, all the different things that I covered in Molasses Moon. No, I can't even think of all of them. Anyway, I guess maybe this is a good stopping point. I haven't done a video for a while. I wasn't sure I'd be able to do one today. Still battling different health issues myself, but with the help of magnesium input every which way, from transdermal to oral, just every which way. Using that, you kind of have to use your own intuition and listen to your body. So I really don't think they're, like everything else, the full answer isn't in yet on how to work with this amazing mineral. But if it weren't for the magnesium and the different ways I'm using it, I know I wouldn't be alive. And what renews my faith in it too is I'm pretty close to 100% certain that if I didn't have these, I wouldn't be living more than maybe a week or a month. And the way to go would not be pleasant at all. There's so many ailments I had that were so serious and painful that it's keeping at bay. And I still am of hope that keeping up with it, eventually it'll get into where it belongs inside the cells in a stronger level. Whatever is right there too, whatever is intended for me to be doing here on this planet is what I want to do. And the clock's ticking. Looks like exactly 6 o'clock up there, 6:02 on my computer, 6:01 on my Kindle Fire. That fire there, that orange is kind of neat too, kind of a neat picture for being shown on the Kindle Fire. Next plans are to, I think before too long I might go ahead and finish Magic Moonbeam, the sequel to Sliding Down Moonbeams, and put that one up. I have another, the 8th Visceral History, The Undertaker's View. Just have to scan in some photographs and put that one together. The story, of course, was written quite many years ago, still extremely relevant. Put that one together and put it on Kindle. I have all kinds of astrology research that can be put up. I have Myrtle's Ultimate Mystery, the sequel to that, through chapter 9, stalled, paused there, whatever. So anyway, I have several other science fiction books also in various stages of progress. There are single books, but you never know with me when a single story might work into a forever saga. I just feel fortunate to be where I am overall. And it's been a real blessing also to be able to do these videos. And I also meant to thank Google, though, for, just so many ways that people could search pros and cons and not be so limited or held back by people that are trying to control and keep their ideas out front and prevent any opposition from being aired. So thanks to YouTube, and thanks to Google again, thanks to Amazon, thanks to Facebook. I'm enjoying having a page there and sharing my videos. I like Google's Plus site and their capacity they give to #1 different videos. Oh, what else? Next time to quit, Linda. So now what for our closing? I was going to show you all of my calendars from April, the page in April, all the calendars I have that I order from Amazon every year. I like starting out with something kind of a neat thing to look at. And I won't go so far as to show my cloud again or the cover to Sliding Down Moonbeams. I also changed the book cover on the Days of Coffee and Donuts and upgraded that book. I had Tom's picture on the cover, and I just was trying to honor him, and it's one of my favorite pictures of him. But every time I saw Coffee and Donuts and his picture, it just didn't go together. Because Tom is a buzzwizzer workaholic, in I think a positive sense. It's just who he is, and he balances his life fairly well for who he is. But it just didn't seem right, as much as I wanted to have it on there. The book's about me. It's me telling my thoughts, doing my wandering and wondering, the collection of editorials of just similar to Molasses Moon maybe, but just little bits to read on different subjects. But I was kind of happy with the way that cover came out because it fits the book a little bit better, the book itself. And I think for anybody, I'm not sure if I showed this, but Tom's, I'm going to get my cell phone here out of my pocket. I've got Tom's picture on the first screen on my cell phone. There's where you open it up when it's still locked. And here's where, when you unlock it, this shows this is the picture that was on Days of Coffee and Donuts. And this shows some of the other pages on my cell. Here's one where you can see Tom a little bit better. So every time I open up my cell phone, this is what I see. Renews my faith in a lot of things. And there's a picture of it over here too, that less stuff in the way, but you can just see the edge. So that's probably a good thing to end this video on. So I mentioned all my projects. And here I'll just wish luck to you with your projects of all the things you're trying to do, the dreams you're trying to make come true, the different things you're working on to improve your life, to have more happiness, more satisfaction. I'll just wish you well in all the things that you're working toward. If they're worthy and good and going to do you more good than harm, I don't want to wish you well on something that might actually not be good. Anyway, keep on and good luck, and we'll see you next time.